Hi guys, I'm Shmi, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today for an outing with my Focus RS Heritage Edition, which, believe it or not, this car is now 2 years old. There have been 2 very quick years since the double collection there, both the Red Edition and the Heritage, and this might turn out to be the last ever version of a Focus RS that Ford actually make. We can talk later about the Mark IV, or maybe the lack of a Mark IV as it looks now, but I'm going to be heading over to Little Legends HQ, the home base of Little Legends Cars, the business I announced recently that I've got involved in and have invested in, the half-scale classic petrol and electric cars. They are a lot of fun, but today I need to head out. There are a few parts and things to do with the business that are compulsory. I do in person, some things to do with documentation, contracts, customs. We've got a shipment coming in. We've also just received a few more that I can show you later today, as well as some banking and accounting and that side of things too. Now while I'm there, we also have the tools there that I can use to swap over the wheels on the Heritage. So at the moment it's still on its winter wheels and tyres. In the back, already loaded up, we have the summer wheels and tyres ready to go. There's something fun in the G63 to show you quickly as well. Then we'll get on the road in the RS, chat about the Mark IV, chat about all sorts of things, and head over to Little Legends as well to see what's going on. I do find it funny when I have these two cars together because the colours, well, they're a bit of a contrast. Of course, we know that from the GT8. Blue and orange are kind of the opposite scale of the colour wheel, which means they do in some strange way almost work together, but this is a little bit lighter. Now in the back of the G63, you can spot the steering wheel of the go-kart. The rear seats are currently folded down. That is delicately perched back there. I need to have some more fun with that. But today, of course, we are taking this out, which, like I said, is currently on its winter wheels and tyres. These are the wheels that were originally on the red RS, so these are the ones that actually were painted gold in the past before I painted them back to the satin black, fitted with the winter tyres. In the back of the car, if we just open it up, have a look back here, you will see I have inside the Richbrook tyre bags the summer wheels and tyres. These are the original ones that actually came with the car to begin with, so those are all loaded up in the back, ready to be put onto the car later on, and then of course I will bring back home these to pop them into my storage locker as well. But on board here, what are we at now with this car? 2 years, 4,462 miles. Yes, it's not a lot. This is fire it into life, but this is a proper collector car. Of course, it has a lot of special place in my heart in terms of the history with my Red RS, in terms of the story. You can hear that whistle. That is quite a funny sound. I am going to go to Mount Tune to fit the sound suppression chamber. But of course, if you remember, the Heritage RS is a tribute to the Escort Mark I from 1968. In 1968, in the British Touring Car Championship, the winning car was an Escort in Alan Mann Racing livery, the same scheme that I have on the Ford GT. It all connects back. It's a lovely story, at least for me. Anyway, for now, let's get on the road. Let's take this car over to Little Legends HQ, and I'll explain a little bit more on the way. It's been a cruise out of London and now in the countryside, some nice twisty roads. So what is this story then about the Mark IV Focus RS? So like many people, I'd been looking forward to the new car, the successor to this, following the teasers, bits of information. We were hearing maybe it would have an electrified rear axle, potentially pushing out 400 horsepower or more. Well, unfortunately, Ford have now said there will not be a Mark IV RS. It's not going to happen. It won't exist. It hasn't proven to be, I guess, financially successful enough for them to put it into production. So while we do have the Mark IV Focus, of course, there just won't be the RS flagship version, only the ST. Now here in the UK, we love our hot hatches. We are big fans of these kind of cars. We have these small, bumpy, tiny countryside roads. We love a car with a lot of power, but a small footprint while also being practical. And we pretty much exclusively learn to drive in hatchbacks. I started with a Renault Clio, so we get used to the form factor, and the Mark 1s, the Mark 2s, and these cars, the Mark 3s, have always been very, very successful here. In fact, the Mark 3 RS was so successful in the UK that Ford introduced this car, the Heritage Edition, of which there are only 50, all here in the UK, and this might now turn out to be the last one, the last Focus RS. So perhaps I shouldn't be driving it now. I should be leaving it at home under a bubble in the garage and not putting any miles on it. But I'm not the biggest fan of garage cleaning, as I think you guys probably know. So I'm going to drive it and enjoy it, even if I've got a full load in the back at the moment and need to take it a little bit easy so we don't have wheels flying around everywhere. Nonetheless, this car in the UK wasn't quite as much of an upgrade as the Mark II RS 500, of which they made 500 cars, where it was kind of completely overhauled. In the case of this, it's an exclusive colour, teeth orange paintwork, and you had the Mount Tune 375 horsepower upgrade from factory. I made a few changes on top of those, putting on the black roof, also giving it the orange brake calipers. I kept the original ones, thinking a little bit ahead that this might be a pretty special car in the future, so the original ones are actually in the box, in the back of the car at the moment. I need to pop them away with the wheels later on. So this is a pretty special thing, but I'd like to also talk a little bit, I'm sure you're wondering, about the fact that I'm currently out and about driving. Obviously, every country in the world has different rules and different guidelines. Some countries have quarantines and lockdowns. Here in the UK, we have social distancing guidelines. Now, the UK government actually have a fantastic website that explains everything, plus every single household in the UK received a letter from Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, along with a leaflet explaining the rules. You have to be aware of social distancing, don't go and visit friends, don't go and visit family, don't go sunbathing in parks. There are a few reasons you're allowed to go out for different things. For example, infrequent grocery shopping, medical needs, daily exercise within or up to an extent, but also going to work if you can't work from home. The government have stressed that it is important for business to carry on, to keep businesses going, which is why they've only closed non-essential shops and public venues. If you can't do your work from home, whether your work is essential or not, they have said that you can go to work. And in the case of today, we have postponed this as long as possible to obviously make sure that we can all stay at home. We're not going to be standing right next to each other, that kind of thing. We're going to be following the social distancing guidelines as specified, but I do want to stress that as per the Chief Medical Officer's advice, we are not breaching guidelines. It is very important that we all work together, but it is also important that businesses, where possible, can carry on. Like many others, I've actually had 2 businesses which have completely come to a stop through this, that aren't running in the slightest. But in the case of Little Legends, we can keep things gently turning over in the background, and that's very important, because ultimately keeping the money flowing, keeping the economy running, keeping things happening is all going to, well, is going to help all of us and put less of a burden and strain on the government at the end of the day. So that is why today I'm out and about in line with the UK guidelines. And I would like to stress again, the link is down below if you would like to go and read more about the social distancing guidelines here. And I guess it's different in every country, but please do follow the rules where you are. Be safe, and we'll all together be able to help this come through as quickly as possible. And not too far to go now though. We will get there, get all of these things done as quickly as possible, and then well, I'll show you a little bit of the new Little Legends while we're over there as well. National speed limit in a countryside road. Drop some gears, get some cracks, foot down. This car is so quick, honestly. I think I say it all the time that about 400 horsepower is all you could possibly need out on the roads. This thing, for getting A to B around the UK, I mean, it does it with a big smile on your face, being conscious of the weight in the back. Lots of cyclists out on the nice roads as well. We've got a bit of a blind corner, see around. Yeah, I love those noises. This thing, I mean, I quite like being lucky enough to have the Heritage stock, and then the Red Edition, which is of course a ballistic machine that we'll see back on the channel again soon. Anyway, not far to go, just enjoying the countryside roads too much. We have already dealt with most of the things that need to be sorted out today, but let me show you around and go in to check out these new Little Legends. So outside in the sunshine, the deep orange RS is looking stunning. We've taken out the wheels and tyres, which are just down here, to check over the tyre pressures. Of course, after they've been in storage, just need to make sure they are all correct. And we've got the jack and the torque wrench to get that lifted up and get those swapped over in just a moment. Jump ahead and all is complete. The wheels and tyres have been swapped on the Heritage. We now have the winter set here, all cleaned up, ready to go back into their bags. A big thanks to the guys as well for helping out with this. And we've got the original wheels and tyres as they were delivered with the car now back on it. And in fact, those haven't done all that much mileage, because most of the driving I've done with the Heritage RS has actually been around Europe in the winter. So I think a good 3,000 miles out of that total are probably driving on those as opposed to the summers. Now out in the sunshine, we had to bring a Little Legend out for a photo, and obviously it had to be the Cobra to go with the Heritage RS. And we've got that blue and orange colour scheme going on again. This looks awesome out in the sun. But let me come through, because I did say there was one more to show you here and one more to talk about. So we will come inside where it is lurking and awaiting us. Just inside here, we have another of the Series 1s in the light blue, looking stunning. That thing is super cool. Look at the wheels on it as well. Really, really nice. Plus we've also got some Little Legends cars, polo shirts as well, and I always love seeing that. But yes, this is really, really cool. They are a lot of fun. Back on the road, but let me tell you about the next little legend to arrive. We're the distributor here in the UK, but I can show you a picture of the 300 SL, which I think is instantly going to jump to my top spot. That looks so cool. The interior, the details, everything about it. So the 300 SL is going to be arriving shortly, and yeah, it's cool. It's very, very cool. Anywho, I've got to go around the corner towards a bank to sort out some things on that side of all of this. As a director of the company, a few things that had to be done to get everything running through correctly at the moment. So I'm gonna head there, get that done, and then obviously head straight back on home from there. And back home in the garage where we started earlier. I have kind of fast forwarded through the entirety of this afternoon. It has not been the most thrilling journey. Of course, the weather is lovely. In fact, it has been stunning today, blue skies and feeling like the start of summer, but the journey has been very much a gentle cruise. Roadworks the entirety of the way along the motorways, 50 miles per hour with the average speed check cameras, and then into London where it's kind of 20, 30, 20, 30, and not exactly the most exciting, but the rare opportunity I've taken out the Focus RS. However, today has been mission success. Everything that we needed to get done in connection to Little Legends cars has now been completed for this time around. Of course, excitingly, we are going to have the arrival of some more cars in the coming days, which I look forward to going to see as well. And of course, the added bonus of getting the wheels changed over on the Heritage RS, which I do need to take out of the back of the car and go and pop those down in the storage as well. But this car, I don't really know what the future for it is going to be. I'm certainly going to be keeping it, I'm sure of that. It means a lot to me. It's a very, very special car, but I don't know how many more miles I feel happy driving on it. It's something I want to keep looking beautiful. Like I said the other day with the Supra, this car doesn't actually have PPF. Different reasons for this. I just didn't think as a car under 40 grand when it was new that I would put PPF on it. Of course, PPF is quite expensive and it would be slightly distortionate compared to the value of the car, but the value seems to be increasing along the way. I don't really know. We'll see what the future is going to have. I'm sure it's going to do a bit more mileage. I'm not just going to leave it, but we will be seeing the red RS coming back to the garage very soon as well with some new upgrades, and I cannot wait to drive that again, and certainly, hopefully at least in the not too distant future, drive that in anger. It needs to be driven hard. All of this work to do the project, to take it through, to develop, to add things onto it. It is time to drive it in anger and have some fun as well. Now, I do want to stress, as I mentioned earlier, you can find in the description the link to the UK government's guidelines for this time for social distancing. But like I said, they have emphasised that they want to keep businesses running. If you can't do the work from home, you are allowed to travel to do the work. This is not in breach of the UK guidelines. What we need to avoid is going to visit, to hang out with people from other households, to socially or to not socially distance. That is, of course, absolutely vital for all of us to get through this as quickly as possible. So thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this kind of random day vlog as we've got a few things sorted. Some more Little Legends to see again soon, though. Of course, now, for me, I need to go and take those wheels out. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Cheers!